Let's do a couple exercises about the basic element, the point. The first thing I'd like you to do is challenge yourself to create 10 distinct points in your sketchbook or on a piece of computer paper that vary significantly in their size, darkness, that is value, the shape, and the material. So your goal here is to create variety. I made these little points in Photoshop, but I'd like you to use actual materials that you have in your hand to try to create 10 distinct points. Points that look different from each other. You may want to pause the video at this moment. We're going to try a second exercise. You may need to pause this video, get a new sheet of computer paper or use your sketchbook paper, and get a timer set for 10 minutes. And what you're going to do in that 10 minutes is start to fill the center of your page with clustered points. Your goal is to fill as much of the page as you can. You can play around with different sizes, densities, the organization of the dots. You might try to create chaos, separate the dots, bring them together, overlap them. How much of the page can you cover in 10 minutes? Okay, so this is where you're going to want to pause the video and set your timer and just make dots. Next, we're going to make viewfinders. So here is a piece of scrap paper. And to make a viewfinder, you just fold it in half. Doesn't have to be very precise. Fold it like that. And then you're going to cut out a little rectangle, about half the size of the rectangle that you want. And the straighter the line is, the happier you're going to be. Straighter the cut. If you want it to be really precise, you could draw this out and then cut it. So here's your folded page and the little piece that's cut out of it. And when you open it up, you have a viewfinder. Looking through the viewfinder, artists like to narrow in on the composition that interests them the most. So when the viewfinder is far away from my face, there are fewer items that I can see in the composition. But when I bring it closer, I can see almost the entire room. So this is a way that artists like to frame the composition around them. And what I'm going to ask you to do is to take your newly made page of dots, yours will probably look different than this one, and grab your viewfinder and scroll it over the page until you find a composition that you find compelling for any reason. Maybe you're just intuitively drawn to it, maybe you like the variety, maybe it reminds you of something like a yin-yang symbol or something like that. So find a composition that's interesting to you. I'm going to go with this one. And then draw a rectangle around that composition. You might want to use a ruler, that might be easier. So the next thing you're going to do is take a photo of your drawing and make sure it's clear where you've drawn your little box. And when you submit your photograph, also submit a comment that analyzes the composition that you found. Try to use the principles of design to describe the way that the dots are organized. I could say that the chaotic dot formation here creates emphasis in that area just by being different from the things around it. So try to talk about how the element point is organized in the composition that you chose. Just do your best. 1 or 2 sentences is absolutely fine. I look forward to seeing your dot compositions.